Welcome to the No I'm Ashley.
I'm Mica.
We might be getting some interesting new developments on the loot box front, with one government agency now officially putting the video game industry on blast in a new report.
Fun! Well, the Dutch Gambling Authority is giving video game publishers an 8-week deadline for when it's going to fix its shit or potentially face some stiff penalties, like, being fined or even banned from sale in the Netherlands.
Plus, we got some brand new reports that reveal just how crazy the loot box phenomenon has become and how bad it's gonna be in just a few years if there aren't some regulations sometime soon, because yeah, they seem to make a lot more money than you probably thought, and that means the industry loves them.
So you mean when something makes a lot of money and there are no rules, companies will try and take advantage of it? That sounds fake.
That never happens.
Nah.
Okay, before we get to how lucrative these loot boxes are, let's just talk about the video game industry's warning. This was sent via the Netherlands Gaming Authority, the regulatory body for gambling laws in the Netherlands. They just released a report about the video games industry and how it handles loot boxes, and they found some things they did not like.
Yeah, of course, we know they're not the first regulatory agency to put loot boxes under the microscope. A number of them have been piling on ever since the Battlefront 2 controversy, but so far nobody's found anything substantial or called for any specific actions around microtransactions.
According to their findings, that's the new ones, that is, the Dutch Commission, the video game industry needs to shape up. So specifically, the Netherlands Gaming Authority looked into 10 games with loot boxes and found that 4 of them violate the Better Gaming Act. The specific violation seems to revolve around the loot boxes costing money and also containing tradable items, which, as a result, hold a monetary value.
The Netherlands Gaming Authority has now sent a letter to these publishers and said they have until June 20th to fix the nature of these loot boxes. If not, they could be banned from sale in the Netherlands. So yeah, it's kind of serious business for games with loot boxes, and most especially those that can have skins that can be traded for value.
Now, we don't know the names of the games involved in the study. They don't name or shame anything like that. It seems like a lot of games on the Steam marketplace will probably run afoul of this law. I mean, a lot of them sell the keys to unlock the loot boxes rather than the loot boxes themselves. So they might have some sort of legal ground to argue that the items inside don't have any monetary value, but that's wiggly at best.
Either way, the Netherlands Gaming Authority has some pretty strong opinions about loot boxes in general. Marcia Appelman, director of the agency, added that most of these games are basically like what you'd see in casinos, saying they're designed as classic gambling games are designed, with the feeling that you've almost won. There are all sorts of sound effects and visual effects when you open such a loot box, so you have a tendency to play through and through. Yeah, Overwatch does that, I feel that.
As for the other 6 games, even though they weren't in specific violation of the Better Gaming Act, they still had plenty of problems of their own. The report calls out the other 6 games as having mechanics that, quote, could nevertheless foster the development of addiction. They also called them out for being at odds with the objective of preventing addiction to organized games.
They also studied loot boxes to see what the risk is in terms of addiction, with the determination that loot boxes in general have a moderate to high addiction risk potential.
So the message here is pretty clear. Clean up the Loot Box Act or else. What's more, the Netherlands Gambling Authority is also putting out a call for the rest of Europe to join them in these calls for tighter restrictions so that they can all be on the same page about them.
They aren't the only ones who are calling for stricter measures on loot boxes, however. We also got a second report in this week with some pretty ridiculous numbers about how much we can expect the trend of loot boxes to grow over the next few years.
Yay!
Yeah, only this one adds in another problematic item, the one that gets me. Skins.
This report is from Juniper Research, a digital market research and analytics firm, and according to them, loot boxes and skin gambling are becoming so lucrative that it's going to become a problem if someone doesn't do something about it soon.
Juniper's research study of the video game industry predicts that based on current trends, loot boxes and skin gambling are on the way to generating, hold on, $50 billion of revenue all by themselves, just the loot boxes, by the year 2022.
That's a lot.
Yeah, for perspective, the video game industry as a whole made just under $110 billion in total in 2017, so that's like almost half.
So that's a whole lot of microtransactions and skin gambling, and really, that's where the problem lies for Juniper Research, who's now recommending some kind of regulation, because when there's that much money to be had and very few rules about what you can and can't do, well, you're bound to run into some problems down the line, as Battlefront 2 discovered.
The firm said in their report, Juniper strongly recommends regulation for skin trading and gambling in an attempt to both prevent youth participation and remove malicious actors who run sites which steal skins or shortchange users.
Yeah, well, usually the arguments about this tend to come back to kids, which makes sense to some degree, seeing as how kids are the ones playing a lot of the games, engaging in skin gambling. In fact, a report from December found that as many as 45% of kids in the UK ages 11 to 16 are engaging in some kind of skin gambling online.
What? That's almost half. I didn't know what skin gambling was when I was 11.
That's a very high percentage.
It's crazy. So yeah, it's actually kind of hard to believe that we haven't seen regulation about this kind of thing sooner. However, some movement seems to be underway for more people to take it seriously. If lawmakers can actually ever understand what's going on.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Although something tells us once these microtransactions start hitting that 50 billion number, people are going to start to get it.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
So all in all, not a great day for loot boxes. It means the Netherlands and potentially the rest of Europe, if they take up the cause, have drawn a line in the sand, joining other lawmakers in both Hawaii and Washington who've done the same thing.
So we'll see if anything ultimately shakes out from all of this.
Well, the Belgian Gambling Commission did come back. They were one of the first countries that looked into it. They said they don't see it as gambling, so
Right.
the EU is not all on the same page yet. I think
No.
the UK also ruled that at the moment they don't consider loot boxes gambling. So there's a lot to figure out there. This doesn't mean it's all done, but
No.
it is an interesting start.
Europe is big and has a lot of opinions, but what do you guys think of the Netherlands Gaming Authority taking shots at the video game industry and all of its loot boxes, or the report that loot boxes are on their way to becoming a $50 billion industry? That's just loot boxes. One
Just
industry.
loot boxes. Wow.
Let us know in the comments.
And for future updates on all things loot boxes, remember to like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the know.
The Netherlands Gaming Authority has now sent a letter to these publishers and said they have until June 20th to fix the nature of these loot boxes. If not, they could be banned from selling.
Monetary value, but that's wiggly at best.
Yeah, and either way, the Netherlands 2017, so that's like almost half.
That's a whole lot of microtransactions.
Yeah.